Hey cuties, welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making some super delicious sugar cookies. And while we do so, we are going to be discussing something that I feel a lot of us struggle with. And that is, why do we keep giving chance after chance to people who have hurt us and are making no effort to change their behavior? This recipe will yield 12 to 14 cookies, so it's a relatively small batch. But if you'd like the recipe doubled or tripled, go ahead and leave a comment below and I'll totally help you out with the measurements. Let's get into it. So first, we're going to mix our dry ingredients in our bowl. Take a look at this bowl. Isn't she so cute? I'm going to give you a 360. Super duper cute, right? Not as cute as you though. Next, we're just going to give it a nice little whisk, whisk, whisk. I recently had to communicate to an old friend of mine that I needed some space from our friendship. We are just on two completely different paths in life, and theirs is pretty self destructive. I'd actually been hurt a few times due to the nature of their lifestyle, but I was constantly just forgiving and moving on, forgiving and empathizing. Eventually, resentment started to build up, and little by little, I was disconnecting from the friendship. So I had to do something that I should have done years ago, and that was protect my peace and well being. We're going to put that bowl to the side and grab our bigger bowl, and we're going to incorporate some wet ingredients. Now, with our butter in the bowl, we're also going to add our sugars. We're just going to cream them together until it's light and fluffy. Now, for this step, you can definitely use a stand-in mixer. It'll be faster. But since I'm talking to you all, I don't mind a little labor of love. So that creamed together relatively quickly. I think it was because my butter was super duper soft. Next, we're going to add our egg yolk and vanilla extract. And we're going to mix this together well. Now, when I spoke my truth, did they respond well? No, they didn't respond at all. And that's okay. You are entitled to speak your truth, and they are entitled to feel how they feel about it. But how they feel has nothing to do with you, and it's all about them. And no response was a response in itself. They could have responded maturely and accepted what I was telling them, but instead they responded immaturely with no response. And that further solidified the fact that this friendship was something toxic. And it made me realize that this was no longer a friendship I could see myself in. Okay, so here's the fun part. We're going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients, and we're just going to mix them up until it's just combined. You do not want to overmix your batter. Overmixing your batter will cause like rock hard cookies, and nobody wants a tough cookie. I mean, some people like hard cookies. There's a time and place for everything. A time and place is not this recipe. We're going for soft cookies. Now, if your dough is a little too crumbly when you're done mixing, don't worry about it. You can add up to a tablespoon of milk. My dough is a little too crumbly for my liking, so I added a tablespoon of milk. Let's mix it up. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, now that our dough is formed, it looks like this. Doughy. Yes. Now that our dough is formed, we're going to roll it into like small balls. So think like a tablespoon and a half size ball. Also, if you want your cookies to be like a little bit sweeter, you can sprinkle some sugar on top. Okay, our balls are formed, and we're going to stick these in the oven at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. When I bake, I like to do like right in the middle, so I'm just going to do 9 minutes. When all those bake, let's have a chat. There are many reasons why we give someone who clearly does not deserve it chance after chance, even after they hurt us and show no sign of any changed behavior. Let's go over a few, and they might resonate with you. A common reason is hope. Hope that they'll do better, hope they'll change, hope that they'll see the error in their ways. Do I believe that hope is a bad thing? Inherently, no. What I do believe is that when someone shows you who they are the first time, you believe them. Another reason is fear. Being lonely is a feeling that's so terrible and nobody ever wants to feel it. Even if this person is super toxic to your life and not adding anything to it, at least they're there. But you deserve more than someone who's just taking up space in your life. Being alone doesn't mean that you're lonely. And personally speaking, the most beneficial periods of my life is when I was alone. I took all the energy that I was pouring into undeserving people and poured it into myself. I began to learn and to love myself. Being alone really allowed me to lock in and focus on prioritizing myself, my mental health, and my well-being. Whenever I'm really leveling up in life, I'm alone. Granted, I've always been a bit of a lone wolf, but still, I feel like alone time is crucial to your development and advancement in life. Because at the end of the day, From the day you were born to the day you die, you are the only constant. So you need to love yourself and be able to be alone. The next reason we have is guilt. And this will probably resonate very well with my people pleasers. As a former people pleaser myself, I would definitely feel guilty about doing things that would seem mean. And by mean, I mean asserting my boundaries, prioritizing myself. And all that is very necessary for my happiness and well-being. I was basically conditioning myself to believe that it's okay to hurt myself as long as nobody else is getting hurt in the process. Which brings me to my next point, lack of self-love. Sometimes we feel like we don't deserve better. We don't deserve to be prioritized. We don't deserve to have boundaries, and we don't deserve to have those boundaries respected. But I am here to tell you that you are worthy. You are deserving of a healthy love. You are deserving of having your needs prioritized. And you are deserving of having your boundaries respected. Let's get to breaking the cycle and choosing you. The realest way to make change, in my opinion, is through conditioning. We've all been conditioned our entire lives to believe certain things. Believing you're not worthy of healthy love, you believing you're not worthy of honesty and affection and respect. Those are things that you were somehow conditioned to believe, whether it was by the people who raised you, whether it was by the relationships that you were in, or whether it was by the belief system that you had growing up. You were conditioned to believe the things that you do. Those things are simply not true. And how do we fix it? With reconditioning. For example, starting something as simple as a mantra that says, I'm worthy of the love and respect that I give others. Put it on a sticky note and put it on your bathroom mirror. I love being able to utilize sticky notes because just being able to read something multiple times a day really gets it ingrained in my mind. And that's how you condition yourself. Constant exposure, constant exposure, constant exposure. If you don't want to do sticky notes, you don't want to do bathroom walls, that's fine. Take a mantra, put it on your screensaver. Take a mantra, put it on your home screen. Just make it somewhere that's going to be constantly visible for you. After a while, you will start to believe everything that you are verbalizing and reading to yourself every single day. Next, we have starting small with boundaries. I understand that big boundaries can be pretty intimidating right now, especially if you're someone who's never asserted a boundary in your life. It can be very scary to start any type of boundary. So let's start small. For example, you can shoot a text to someone and say, hey, don't text me after 7 p.m. because after that time, I'm going to be winding down and getting ready for bed, and I won't respond. Short and sweet. Once you start to feel comfortable with putting those small boundaries in place, you'll be able to feel better with enforcing bigger boundaries because you'll have more experience in it. But don't worry, slow and steady wins the race. So take your time. And lastly would be pouring into yourself, loving yourself, and learning yourself. I touched on that a little bit earlier, but let's dive in deeper. You need to become comfortable with being alone. You need to become comfortable with finding hobbies, activities, forms of self-care. You need to become comfortable with pouring into yourself. You can try something out of your comfort zone or revisit old interests that still make you happy. Figure out what boundaries look like for you. Figure out what mutually beneficial friendships look like for you. When you know what you will and you won't tolerate, it makes sticking to your guns that much easier. So the cookies finished a few minutes ago. I took them out and they smell so delicious. They've been cooling for a few minutes. So now let's plate them and wrap up this chat. So we have the cookies. They're plated and they look delicious. Look at how beautiful. Beautiful in the front. Beautiful in the back. Let's take a bite of our creation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It definitely did not need the extra sprinkle of sugar on top. So delicious. 10 out of 10. You've got to try this recipe. In conclusion, you've got to remember, choosing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. I know it can be uncomfortable at first, but great things never came from comfort zone. Every time you stop by, it's truly a treat for me. So in return, I will always have a treat for you. I hope you liked this video. I hope some of the key points resonated with you. I really enjoyed making a delicious dessert for us today, and I really enjoyed getting to have a nice little girl chat. If you'd like more content like this, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's video, and I would really love to hear if you tried this recipe. I love you so much. We'll talk soon. Bye.